So tonight was a tough night, and so many pieces about being a entrepreneur and a founder are so uncertain. And most of the time, you're going through the motions without being without being in the motions. And today on our growth path work, which is the work with educators, it was really a challenging day for me because I feel like both the soul growth work I'm doing and the growth path work I'm doing, while very different in scope and how I'm approaching the work as a entrepreneur and a founder, are also so similar and so aligned. And I feel like I don't really share much about the growth path work because that work seems more personal to me. That work is about the public education system in the United States. That work is politically charged with things so outside of my control that to ignore them seems ignorant, and to acknowledge them seems like I'm perpetuating to a narrative that I really do not want to keep putting into the system. I believe in the education system. Education, Nelson Mandela, quote from Nelson Mandela. Our education system and being educated is the most powerful weapon that you can have. It's the most powerful weapon in the world. Having access to knowledge and opportunity. And I keep the work I do with educators and education on a very tight narrative. It's very stealth. It's very undercover. And I think the reason I do that and really focus on soul growth in this Build in Public podcast is because the work in education, nobody understands on a soul level. The difficulties and challenges that educators are facing, especially those in the highest positions, people don't understand. I would take a school superintendent and put him or her up against a corporate CEO any day of the week and talk about the challenges. You're talking about people literally bringing guns into schools. That pressure, that is where politics aren't even coming into play. That is where you are on high alert all the time. But you don't have, see what our politicians have when you sit in those seats is you have protections. You have some protections around you. And our local superintendents sitting in those seats do not have that. It is hard. It is difficult. And so part of the work that I am so impassioned about doing is supporting our leaders in those most highest seats in our local public schools. And I believe that is going to need to look differently. Battle lines have been drawn in this country. That is just facts. And in order to lead schools, which lead our children, which lead to a free and open thinking society, which of course has problems. Yes, it has problems. Of course it does. It is a government regulated institution. Yes, it has problems. But if we are to change things, the change has to come from multiple places without it being so overwhelming. And so that's part of the work that we are building on the growth path. And I cannot do that work if I do not have a platform and a ability to showcase how work can be done differently with superintendents. And I've been building behind the scenes. And I'm ready to say it's time to do things differently. It's time to stand up some work for educators, for superintendents, those leading the work on the local levels, those in the trenches that others do not understand. And it's time to give them a platform. And so this week, my focus has been on building both my own soul growth journey, but also allowing others to build the growth path education journey in order to move things in the public K-12 education space. Because no matter how far away I get from being an entrepreneur and doing things differently, I will always have the heart of a teacher, the heart of education in this country, and what it has meant for me and so many at the heart of who I am and what I do. And that is today's Soul Growth Building Public Journey.